back to another Trading Fibs video. It's been a while, I guess, maybe a couple weeks since I put out the last video, but I figure everybody's kind of got the gist of where I'm going, but I think I'm going to change it up. I've like I said, I've been pretty bearish all the way since July of 2024. I felt like that was kind of where we were teetering for a top and starting to see some trend changes, and we have, but it's gotten a little confusing. I like to trade with counting waves and using fibs, and try to use some of my indicators as directional conviction trends for counter trends and stuff like that. So, but just to show you real quick, this leg right here was where I began my count as a reversal. So let's just say this was one leg. We had a triangle up, so an A and a B, A, B, C, D, E here for this triangle. And then it got tricky. So the C that should have broke down here, it didn't. We only got like a 23% retracement here. So I kind of sat back and watched this play out. I tried to catch some of the swings, but nothing real significant as far as some long plays, because I knew something wasn't right. So finally we got a top here, and we started forming this crazy pattern here, and I thought for sure this was going to be a triangle here, A, B, C, D, and an E, but then it broke the triangle and tried to retest our high here. So I thought this was a double top. Then it started doing another consolidation. I thought maybe it's another triangle, A, B, C, D, but it broke. It expanded too much, so it couldn't be the triangle. It was more almost like a triple top, and now we're broke down to where we're at right now. So I'm having to go back to this section here and maybe recount some things. So let me zoom out here real quick. Let's start our leg from October of 2022. I like to count everything in 3 moves, okay? Even if I count on accident 5 waves, I still try to subdivide it into a 3rd wave count. If you know Elliott waves, it's usually a 5 waves momentum followed by an ABC correction. But in this market, especially in this wave of a market, we might be in a 4th wave overall market. And if that's a 4th waves can be triangles. And if it is a triangle, every move can be counted in 3 waves anyways. So for the next couple of years, I think I'm going to try to just count everything in 3 waves. And I went past even the beginning of the markets and tried to count everything in 3 waves, and that's when I found out that they do extend from each other. So it still can be done. Even if you count it 5 waves or 3 waves, you come out with the same outcome. Basically, you just count it a little different. So with that being said, and I've said that many times, we're going to move on. So try to follow with me. I like the trading platform for Thinkorswim, but trying to draw on here is a little difficult sometimes. So follow the cursor if you can. And also, I'm going to recap. Whenever I'm counting waves, I try to at least find 2 degrees of trend before a counter trend in the degree I'm counting. Okay, it's a little complicated, but the more you do it with me, we'll learn together. So right now, you can see this is one leg up, ABC correction, and another leg up. All right, so this is 1, 2, 3 moves. All of this together is 1 move. So I'll draw a line here to connect this one. This is an A. This correction here would be a B. And now I'm looking for the C up. So if we take our fibs, and all you have to do is start it from the top of A to bottom of A, and you hit the very first one that touches, that'll be your next leg. Now, I don't know, usually I can't tell right away which degree the next leg is, but I'll just go ahead and say I'll keep it symmetrical with what I'm counting so far. So I'll just say, like for this one, this would be the same degree. Okay, so now I'll erase it. I will notate other fibs. Let me get this off of here real quick. Delete. Okay, so like notice this fib right here. I would have probably, even though this one was the one that hit, I'll go ahead and maybe notate these two or keep them up there and delete all the rest that are already passed. Okay, but for right now, I'll just write it down on a piece of paper that this 261 was of importance, because I'm always looking for overlapping fibs. So now I take this structure and measure it to get our next wave. And look here how it was pretty close to the 261 previously. So that's would have been my next target. All right. So now, but notice how it's off a little bit. Okay, it didn't really hit. So would leave me a question mark for later down the line. Okay, so let's say in real time, this is hitting the fib. Not even really any pullbacks. It's just playing on through. So as it's playing through, moving through, you just wait till your next fib and see how it reacts. Okay, so as in real time, as it didn't really get to the 161, but it had a significant pullback. So that's telling me that this is our next leg. Now, we've already have an A and a B. We're looking for C. The question is this leg a C leg, or is it an A of our next C? Okay, so every wave would subdivide in 3 other parts. Okay, that's another reason I try to count in 3 waves, because it's a little bit easier to do so, because I'm only looking for 3 moves. Okay, now it's the extensions that get a little tricky, how to predict those. But like I said, as you follow what I'm doing, it should come a lot easier. It's easier to forecast in the near-term future doing it this way, for me anyways. So I hope I can pass it on if it helps. But anyways, moving on, let's label this as we go. So it's not any trying to hurry up. Like I said, I got a busy person. I try to do this in my spare time. I watch a lot of videos out there, and there's a lot of good analysts out there, and I've learned from them. I'm kind of self-taught myself. I just try to incorporate any cheat code I can to get ahead of the noise. So in doing that, I never try to get stuck on one indicator. I'm always trying to learn something new. That's what I'm trying to say. But anyways, moving on. So right now, for sure, we know that this is an A and a B. That's the only thing I can say for sure. We just don't know if this is a C or a smaller degree A. So let's do this. Let's just put an A. And another thing, when you label Elliott wave or label waves, Elliott wave has its own way of labeling it. But for me, I like to color code. And as I get these videos listed, I'll probably have like a code chart, color code chart here in the corner later on. But anyways, moving on. So right now I'm thinking that this is a smaller degree A. And another thing that I was looking at is if you measure, which I've done in the past, and you can look and see that these waves are extended. Look at the way that these waves move compared to down here, where it's a little cluttered and up and down, up and down, up and down. But here it's gapped up, gap up, extension, gap up, small and tiny consolidation periods. This is an extension, all characteristics of an extension. Okay, so that tells me that even though it looks like as far as time duration, it looks like it's a C of this A and a B, but I'm not so sure, especially the way this is playing out here. Okay, I've kind of drew some lines in here. You probably see where I'm going with this already. I've said in the past I don't like trend lines all that much, but when I do play them, it's due to a triangle. And if it's a triangle that I'm looking at, it's because it's a B wave. And if it's a B wave, where there's a B wave, there was an A wave, and there will be a C wave. So that gives me a lot more information on direction. So now that I have this A here, I'm looking for a B and a C. All right. Now this could be an A and a B, and then maybe the C up here. So let's measure just this A wave to get a C, see where some C targets would be. This 123 would have been our first target, but it went past it, and it reacted pretty close to the 138. All right. So this could be my C wave. Now let's look at that and see how it moved. We would have to kind of zoom into the internals here. I want to look for 3 moves. Here's 1, 2, 3. I mean, look how perfect it hits these fibs. That's what I'm looking for, and that gives me the conviction that I'm in the right count. So let me zoom back out of here a little bit. So this is what we counted right here. So this could be an A and a B and a C. And then if you add these 2 waves together, this could be all. Let me get a line here. So let me connect this line here. Okay, so you see this little zigzag here. This could be an A and a B and a C with an extended A. Now the question is always, is the move over? Is this the degree that we're done with? Well, I'm just not okay. Let's do this. If this C, this ABC here, was the move that was complete, then if we took this measurement from A, this would have to hit pretty close, if not perfect. Now, I'm going to zoom in here. Hopefully this doesn't glitch my computer here. I hate it when I zoom in. Okay. So this was our C. I mean, it's pretty close, but it's not exact. So that leaves questioned as far as the probability of the move is not over. It's just kind of psyched us out a little bit. So what we have to do now is we can recount just to make sure. Let me get this back in focus. And if you look at it, let me get rid of these lines here real quick. And if you look at the move, this leg right here, I mean, I know this A wave is extended. So, I mean, I guess that's what throws it off, that this looks so short. Remember, I always look for at least 2 degrees of legs in the degree that I'm looking at. So we have this A, B, and a C for an A, and an A, B, C that could be complete, or this could be an A wave. So that's the question. Is this an A and we need a B and a C up? Or is this C done and we're looking, this was the turn right here? And that's what I was thinking back in July, is that this was the turn. Because I was thinking that fib was close enough for it to go ahead and use that as a turn down. And this could be an expanding flat for the turn, where this is an A and a B up and a C down. But the problem is, these waves counted out perfect for the B wave until right here. This whole move didn't make sense, and it's like the market just kind of threw up right here. Nothing's making sense unless, let me get some arrows in here. Okay, so this circle right here that I'm going to put down, that's where I thought the market turned. And then I'm going to put this arrow right here, because that didn't make sense. This move here, this retracement was way too small, because this was supposed to be an A and a B and a C down. And it didn't happen. Now I was thinking, well, if that's not the C down, then maybe this is an A up, or I mean a A down here, and this was going to be another leg, a bigger leg up in 3 degrees. So this would have been an A and a B and a C. So this would be an A and a B and a C up, but none of these targets hit my fibs. So A, B, and especially this double zigzag didn't make sense. It just, none of it made sense. Okay, so till today, it kind of stuck out that maybe where the circle is at is not the completion. Let me get rid of the oval, and that this is another start of or that was the completion of an A leg. So let me put this in red. No, purple. So now let me draw this line here. So this A and this B and this ABC here is one move right here in purple. And if that's the case, then let me zoom back in here, and I think you've already kind of figured it out. I drew this trend line here. I think we're looking at some kind of triangle here for B. So A, B, C, D, and an E. Okay, it's just going to be an upward bullhorn ascending triangle. Okay, so like the one we saw when Trump was in office for his last 2 terms, we saw that bullhorn triangle, but it was a little bit more flat. This one's looking like it's like I said, ascending a little bit, so it would make higher highs and higher lows. So this is what I'm looking at, and then that would put us, see, so the B wave maybe somewhere out here. Let me think here. So if A, B, and a C, D, I don't know. I don't know where it would end up. It'd probably follow along this trend line right here. And then usually when the E leg is completing, it usually breaks under the trend line for a couple of days, and then like a false breakout, and then a major push to the upside. It's usually how that plays out. And remember, everything in a triangle is going to be 3 moves anyways. Really hard to count. It's almost like sometimes they're more complex corrections than anything. So here's 1, 2, 3 for A. A crazy 3 move up here for a B, A, B, and a C, and then your D and E. Running out of room here to write this, but this would be in a lesser degree, and we can put it in the yellow. Not really sure at this moment what degree that is, but it would be here actually, and this would be a 1, 2, like expanding. It gets crazy. Expanded flat for an A, and then a zigzag for B, another zigzag down for C. So this is like 3 moves for your C leg in your triangle. It even gets complicated to say. That's why I better label this real quick. Okay, so we got that. I'm going to duplicate this here. So this is A, B, C. Yep. D would be up here, somewhere on the trend line. And then an E down, and you can just see that would be some major swings. So whoops, didn't mean to do that. Okay, so now so I got E coming out. I'll go ahead and draw the lines. So then D would go up here, maybe up towards the trend line, and then down again for E. And I think E will actually break the trend line here. So we'll extend this one to the right. So maybe this comes up a little bit more. And remember, those are 3 moves, not just one. So kind of zigzag up, maybe some consolidation. It's going to be crazy, you know, if this plays out like that. I mean, it's going to be crazy anyways. It's going to move fast one direction. It's going to be hard to time this market. But I've seen a lot, and like I said, a lot of people that are breaking down and analyzing these charts, I think they're doing great. You know, I almost don't really even want to do my own studies because, you know, they're hitting them. They're hitting the marks. They're covering everything. I'll even go as far as say there's a Ron Walker out there, I think is his name, and I like the way he reads his charts and implements the fundamentals. And you know, Johnny Bravo's out there. He's got a good strategy and, you know, very comical. I think they bring a lot to the table. You know, even meet Kevin. He doesn't do a lot of chart reading, but he's on top of things, and I watch them all. You know, there's a stock charts, I think, out there too. He does something different, and you know, everybody should catch him, check him out. But anyways, let me zoom out here real quick, and then we're gonna look at some of the indicators, and just kind of show. And now it's a mess, right? You can't really see it, but so this is the low, October 2022. This is where we're at right here. I think we're gonna get a bounce up. Let's just zoom in this section here. So where we are right now is the S&P 500, SPX. I don't even know if I said that. Let me just write this down here. I do the micros, e-minis all the time, so it's just by habit. And I've been trying to take text message as I'm doing this, so I apologize. All right, so that S&P 500 chart. But we're at, we closed around 57.74, is that correct? And I think we're going to get a bounce up. Maybe this is, okay, I've already counted these moves here. And this is 3 moves complete. All right, it's actually complete here. It's expanding flat for a reversal for a B wave. So this is an A and a B and a C down. It's gonna just be nuts. I just don't know where the high is gonna be, but I'll come back and get some targets here. Let me just finish what I'm saying here. Is this is gonna be 3 moves, and we got to follow the trend line, and we're gonna know where this D wave, if it's even gonna happen, once this C leg completes this trend line. But I'll go ahead. We'll analyze this move here real quick. This is from the top of February 19th, 2025. This is your A wave right here. This bar right here completes the move 1, 2, 3. So this red bar here completes the close here is your C. So it's an A, B, and a C. Now here you have an expanding flat. It looks like a big move, which it is. I think it's gonna. That's kind of the sign of a reversal. Sometimes it's just these big bars compared to the volatility compared to the other days. So is what this is an A, B, and a C. So it'll be an expanding flat, I'm assuming, before we turn lower. So is what we need to do is get some targets, like a 50 or 61.8% target is what I'm looking for, especially in triangles. You're going to want to look for the 50 a lot. I just eyeballed it earlier. I put it here because there's a price level, but we might really be looking at it right at the 6,000 level. Okay, maybe the 61.8 is 6,041. So anywhere between 6,000 and 6041 would be your target before we turn back down to finish this move. Now, why do I think it's going lower? Fundamentally, who knows these days? Pick your poison, all right? But as far as technical indicators, on the 4-hour S&P, bearish on the RSI, but we have a divergence, a little bit of divergence on the MACD, and not so much on the MACD 2 lines. Again, I always implement Fibonacci sequence on all my indicators and find a way to incorporate them into my wave counts. So yeah, a little bit of a divergence, but not. It's not a full sweep divergence on all 3 of my indicators. I do have a couple more that implement ADX and some kind of volatility index, which is still all correlates moving averages. But again, this is the 4-hour time frame on the S&P. Let's do the daily. Now, on the daily, it's a little divergence on the RSI, but still, I don't like it when it's a flat divergence. I like it when it's they actually counter trend against each other. All right, so if this one's going down, I want this one to go up, and vice versa. As far as the MACD, no divergence there. MACD 2 lines, no divergence there. Now, this tells me, and this is where reading indicators are an art form in itself. Counting waves is hard enough, but trying to really read indicators is that's really, I think, is where you kind of get your gauge on how the sentiment overall in the market is going to play out. Okay, so usually I say if it's below the 50, we're looking bearish, and we're below the 50. If the MACD, if the signal line's above the zero line, we're still technically bullish. Okay, so that would be like your long-term trend. Okay, and then the RSI would be more like a medium-term trend, and the MACD 2 lines would be more your short-term trend. Okay, so the MACD is telling me we're still bullish, but it's more to that, because my moving average kind of cuts. You see how it cuts right through the middle of all your momentum bars? It tells me that it's not even close to really being like oversold for a reversal. And now moving to the MACD 2 lines, our signal line is looking like it's going to react to the zero line. This could be a bounce. Okay, this could indicate a bounce short term. Medium term, our RSI might try to retest the 50, and we might start to get a pull up on the MACD to where it'll flip and come lower later. And this would all line up on the bounce here to your 50% or 61.8, which is your 6,000 level. All right, and that's on the daily. So yeah, maybe we go a little lower opening tomorrow, but if you go back to here where we kind of counted this move already, we've got, let me go ahead and throw this back up here. Hold on one second. I think it was here. Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah. So remember, when I'm counting waves, I always like to try to find 2 or 3 degrees before I am convinced there's going to be a turn. So let me point out the 2 or 3 degrees. This could be 1, 2, 3. This would be A, B, C. So this is 2 degrees already, and then your A, B, C to here. That would be 3. Now, if this is just 2, and we're looking for an A and a B, or A, B, and a C down, and we need to find just a little bit more downside, then we're going to measure this. So maybe we come down to 57.25, try to actually hit the fib this time instead of getting so close to it, and then we get our bounce. I think that's going to happen, because on this side of the equation here, I don't see a full 3 moves yet. I see a A and a B, and the C just looks too short. See how it went past right here? I know it's close, but it needs to be spot on. Unless I'm measuring the wrong candlestick, this one would be 56.97. So, and then your 200-day moving average is right around here, closer to the 200% fib, which is 56.41. I just don't think it's going to come down that low. It's definitely possible because the indicators are all starting to turn bearish, long-term, short-term, mid-term, on the daily. Look how close the signal line is to that zero. If that signal line crosses that zero, with this momentum line where it's at in these momentum bars, I think think, yeah, it could come down that far. So, definitely bearish right now. So if you're bullish, I think we'd be real lucky to get a 6,000 level in the next couple of days without going lower. Okay, you understand what I'm saying? Let me repeat that. If you're a bull, I think we'd be real lucky to get to the $6,000 level before we go lower. So I think that we're going to get a little bit of consolidation right here, come down lower, and then bounce up. This one's going to be tricky. I do think that a bigger bounce is in the future. Now, I don't have a lot of time to go over a lot of fundamentals. The only thing I know is that the micro minis, I think we have about 17 days left on that, and some options will expire on that day too. So that leaves us with like 2 weeks from now for a bigger move. So it seems like to me that it would be more plausible for a bounce up. Well, we would kind of want to time, I would say we would want to time a bull bounce when the expirations of these options play out. So 2 weeks from now would put us like middle March 20, last week of March or something like that, right? March 24th here. So we'd have to reach a bottom, I think, then. So yeah, maybe we do. That would be great for a bull case scenario for a bull bounce here in the next for this next week to get to that 6,000 level. I think I have another indicator out that shows that the momentum is speeding up too. So these moves are going to be fast. Okay, so they're going to be hard to catch. So I think the best thing to do is get conviction on your targets where you think they may go. And if you're bullish or bearish, you need to, if you want to make some quick trades, find out your levels. Like I said, there's a lot of people out there doing great jobs on structure analysis. But this is just something a little different, something little food for thought here on what another way to look at it. So I hope it's not confusing. Hope it doesn't throw anybody off. But the reason I'm putting this out is mostly because this day was that election. Well, it was election day. That move didn't make sense to me. Okay, and I've been scratching my head every day to figure out why that is, how to count this from that day. And the first thing that stuck out is that this move here, these big moves, just the dynamic of the moves are so much different than the previous. And then it kind of dawned on me that these kind of moves happen in triangle patterns. So, like I said, I think the whole market is in a fourth wave triangle pattern. And when you subdivide that after subdivision after subdivision, you get these kind of crazy patterns, crazy moves. And yeah, and the market's going to hide patterns inside of patterns, where a triangle looks like a zigzag, and then it plays out, and then it's an actual head and shoulders pattern, or so it's like you start drawing a picture of a circle, and then you make a mistake and it looks more like a hexagon, and then you erase it, or you can't really erase it, but you keep drawing more lines and it looks like I don't know, two rectangles put together or something like that. Terrible explanation, but that's what it is. There's just patterns hidden within patterns is what I'm trying to say. So I think if you're not asleep now, you probably will be after this video. So I'm going to call it on that. I think the 6,000 level is what we need to be looking for near term. I think our bottom is going to be around the 55.74 area. And that's about it. So I'm going to leave this picture up here, and hopefully everybody can read that. This is S&P 500 chart. Usually I do just the micro E-minis, but that chart's such a mess right now. I thought this one's the best one to do. So I hope that helps, and until next time, good luck.